Hey, everybody. How is everybody doing this evening? Happy Wednesday, hump day, middle of the week to all of us, to each of you out there. Welcome back for another Wednesday night live with me, Brent, and this, by now is in my head channel. And today, let me pull this down because this is still showing my thumbnail. Um, Today, we're going to be looking at these magazines. Just kind of, I really didn't have anything to do for this because we're in the middle of working on the voting for the second round of the um, brackets that's up on my YouTube channel and social media. And just so you're aware, I am back on social media. For those of you who do not know, I'm back on Twitter at in my head channel, and I am on Instagram at in my head underscore channel. And somebody asked me earlier, what happened with my channels before, and I kind of went dark for a few months, got rid of my social media that was personally attached to me, and kind of opened back up with more business social media and stuff like that. So if you guys want to get in on the check me out on social media. I posted some pictures earlier of this, posted some pictures of my dogs who didn't want me to get off the couch, and posted some pictures of other stuff. And I'll be posting things there as well. I try to duplicate everything on my YouTube, social media, and Twitter and Instagram. And so we are in the middle of doing that as far as the brackets goes, and I want to go ahead and talk about the next thing we're going to do in addition to brackets. We usually have um, the request and beer caps uh, thing, the jar that I put requests and beer caps in. You see, there's still a lot in there, but I did kind of cheat because I was talking to a friend of mine, my friend Scotty Sky, and so we was talking to him, and he is asking about the some of the requests he'd put in, and I told him I'd dig out one that he had requested, and we would do it. And I found this one. I thought this one would be right up our alley. It's not Kiss related, but it is 80s metal related. And I know you probably can't see this; it's too small, and I get this close, it's going to be too blurry. But this is "Look What the Cat Dragged In" from Poison versus "Night Songs" from Cinderella. Look What the Cat Dragged In from Poison versus Night Songs from Cinderella. So we'll do a track versus track for that. I think that'll be real cool. I'll put that up probably after I take down the track, uh, the track, the brackets. And so yeah, so that'll be what we'll do. I see we got quite a bit of people in the chat. And I did put in the chat earlier that if this can be one that we can call in. So if you want to just call in and then talk, and there's the dogs. If you want to call in and talk, you don't have to be on video because I'm basically going to be showing what we're looking at here. But you don't have to. But if you want to call in and talk, you can copy and paste that StreamYard there into your mobile device or into your whatever. You just need a microphone, and you can talk or whatever. If nobody does it, that's okay too. I just wanted to give people the option to be able to call in on this one, since we are going to be talking about Kiss stuff. And feel free to join in on the chat about whatever you want. I'll try to see everything. I see Angelo, see Ronnie Parker, Space Ace Ron. Good to see you guys. Emily Graziano, Kevin, K55. Good to see you. What's good? I don't know. Angelo Scanzelli. Let's see. Stroke. Dark Light. Good to see you. Mick C. Har. Good to see. Good to see you guys. So on the table here, I've got a variety of things that I was going to just kind of touch on and talk about tonight as we go along. I've got. I don't know if we'll get all the way through everything. We'll be here for about an hour, and so. But I've got a couple fanzines here that we're going to talk. I'm just going to kind of show you and go through, and then I've got kind of going in some type of order. I've got my grooves number 1, or is that grooves number 3? That's actually grooves number 7. Grooves. I need to get these other Kiss grooves. I've seen them online, so I've got grooves, Phantom, Kiss, the giant classic wall size poster, Kiss the videos, and Kiss Worldwide 1996-97. I've been listening to a bunch of new podcasts lately. I've been listening to the Kiss Army Things. Those guys. You check these. Now, Kiss Army Things is on YouTube, and check them out. And another one called Right Between the Eyes, and they are mostly. I talked with one of the guys from there. I can't remember his name right away. Maybe Ron. I think I'm not sure. But talked with them. Been talking with them today, and I've been really. I kind of hot faced their podcast. They're mostly audio podcast on things like Spotify. Spotify is where I was listening to them. So I was talking to them, and and we're talking about possibly them doing an episode with me, because that'd be really cool. Because the Right Between the Eyes, they're 3 generations of Kiss fans, and I like that. The one of the guys, I think his name might be Nick. I'm sorry if I'm not pulling your name, but calling your name right. But Nick, I think, is kind of my age, just from what I've gauged. He's seen Kiss way back, and then there's a guy that's younger, probably around my son's age, and then there's a guy that's kind of in the middle. And so, going to hopefully have them on. And they're a smaller channel. Both of these channels are smaller channels, but definitely, if you're a subscriber of me or you watch my stuff on a regular basis, jump over there and give those guys, listen to what they've got to say, and give them a subscription or a follow, whatnot. I think they're all on. They're also on Instagram and on Twitter as well. So just check them out. We're all Kiss nerds, and we love to sit around and talk about Kiss, and we just really like to do stuff like this, and we just like to sit around and talk. So, and they kind of do the same, sit around and talk about Kiss. So we'll talking about these magazines and some of the stuff I've got here. Mick C asking what happened to the regulars, Carla and the comic book guy. Let's see. Carla had a baby, and so Carla got really kind of busy. But there is a possibility she'll be back in the future. Rick had some things. It's nothing serious, but he had some things going on with work-wise. He's been having it go on for a couple years now. Me and Rick, we talk every day. So Rick from It's All For You Demon, he's been in past videos. You may see him pop up in a video every now and then. That's totally up to him. But there's no bad blood between me and anybody. And at least they've not told me. But there's nothing bad. AJ is he was in the video last week. And the comic book guy that you're talking to is Matthew. Matthew has been in videos also as well. He's going to be in videos. He's currently on vacation. And I was talking to him about him potentially being in the video tonight, just kind of hanging out and talking and looking at magazines. And but he is on vacation. So some of the people that are regulars, they're still around, and they possibly will be in videos in the future. But we all have really busy lives. That's basically the reason that I stepped back for several months, really pulling back from making videos, was because my work balance, life balance, family balance, and free time balance, and making videos balance, which it was more time in the day that I had to do. So I had to give on something, and family and work comes first. So YouTube had to take a little bit of a step back, but I appreciate everybody that has been here and continues to be here. All right. So let's get our beverages. Tonight, I've just got a Coke, 0 sugar tonight. I'm taking it easy. So been working on the weight again, and a lot of times beer has carbs, so it's got to cut that with carbs. I'm down another 5 pounds. I think since last time I really talked about it, so I'm continuing that downward spiral. Not fast enough though. Mick C, you can be a guest. You can be a guest. Just contact me. Just look up my email and get in touch with me. I don't have a problem with people being guests. So yeah, Mick, I'd love to have you. Love to have you. Absolutely. And we can talk about it. We can talk about things. I need to get this lady right here. I need to get this lady right here back in a video soon too. I love Miss M, and need to get back in the video with her. I need to get caught up on your videos also, Emily, and get you back in a video too. And tell Mama Sandy I said hi. I hadn't forgotten about her. So let's check these out. I just want to kind of talk about these a little bit. This one here is kind of cool. I hope you guys can see this really good. This is a fanzine, and this is from, it says it's for January and March of 1996. So this would have been right in the middle of the reunion. And this one has Peter. That's really cool art on the front of that. That's Ace and Peter. Somebody commented on my Twitter, Instagram, that if Ace and Peter would have done a solo album or done an album together, that would have been a good cover. And I agree with that. That would have been a really, really good cover. So this is kind of cool. This is out of Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm just going to kind of flip through it here. I know this is going to be too small really for you guys to read. What I may do is I may scan these into a PDF and put it in a link for you guys so you guys can look at it. And if I do that, I'll post it on my social media if you guys will be able to look at it. But there's a video with Gene and there's a picture with Gene and Bruce and Eric and Paul and Stan Goad. This issue is dedicated to the memory of our friend Stan Goad. I'm not sure who Stan Goad is. Somebody that he just knew. You guys may know who that is. I'm sorry if I'm ignorant. I don't know who that is. But kind of flipping through here. Just this looks like this may be a collector's. Yeah, it says the Kiss Collector Zine. If I just read the front. On the front here, or on the inside, it says featured collector Steve Hokanson. So it's just got a picture of his stuff. Picture of his room. These fanzines are really cool. And a lot of these popped up during, and I don't even really know if fanzines are still a thing. This is really hard to turn the pages in, picking it up. Wow. This guy's got quite the collection. A lot of albums, a lot of magazines. It's really cool. I think I've skipped a page. Yeah, these pages are really... This looks like it's an interview. Yeah, this is an interview with Gene and Paul right here. I think I'm going to scan this in for you guys. I'm going to scan it in. That way you guys can read it at your leisure. Because this isn't something that's just floating around in large numbers. Fan art, that's really cool. Like a pencil drawing. Spotlight on Kiss Army kits. And Kiss Army Kit version 1. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to scan this in for you guys. Kiss Army Kit 2. Kiss Army Kit version 3. I had that one. Some of that stuff looks so familiar. I think I had this one too. Don't think I had the first one. It says it's pre-Destroyer, Destroyer 76. And Kiss Army version 2 is Love Gun through Double Platinum. Kiss Army version 3 is, yeah, so I would have had that one, and I would have had that one. That's why they look so familiar. Kiss Army Kit posters. Yeah, Ronnie said, too bad Sam Loomis got zapped. Yeah, it is. But if you go look at one of my videos, my short and my video, I have where I'm not going to put the videos on YouTube, but I have a link where you can go and you can click on that link and you can get to my OneDrive and you can view the videos or download them if you'd like. So that if you go search on my videos, that link is in the description of one of my videos or in the comments. I don't know if it's in the description, but it's in the comments. The Bad Boys tour. So this is when this might be pre. See, I'm not sure when did the reunion actually start. So this says January to March 1996, and I think it started later in the year. But this is Ace and Peter. November 17th. So that would have been the previous year. That would have been in 95. Yeah. Angelo says some other people put Sam Loomis's videos up. Yeah, they did. But it's copies of copies. So, they're not the greatest quality. Mine are downloads. And so you can, but if somebody, how with a copy machine, if you take an original and you copy it, and then that's okay. But if you then make another copy of that copy and you keep doing that, you're going to start really losing quality. So the more you see these videos pop back up on YouTube after YouTube takes them down or whatever, it really starts to degrade the quality. Here's something just the facts, Gene. It shows the vault with Gene. I'm definitely going to scan this for you guys. I think this would be really cool to have. And looks like that's a Kiss cover band. And then Kiss Traders Post. Different things for sale here. Kiss Tour Book raffle. Some stuff here at the back. I'm not real sure what all it is. And then the very back is Wanted. More readers like Vinnie Vincent. And then something here at the very back and then the back. Great moments in history. The new Kiss show. July 10th. So this was 97. So Kissaholics, I'll put that, and then I'll put the link in the description once I get that scanned and put up. I'll put a link in the description for that. All right. So the next thing I have is another fanzine, and this is from April of 96, and this is called Rag. And I'll scan this one too. And that is super cool. That real old picture of Kiss. Now, I'm not real sure about what Rag is all about. This is out of Canton, Illinois. April of 96. The Wall tribute to Pink Floyd. Little advertisement there. This looks like it just may be, I don't think this is a Kiss fanzine. I think this is just one of those local magazines. Like around here, we have one, I think it's called Creative Loafing or something like that. It's some lame name or whatever. I think there's another one around here that's a little more hippie called Focus. I think that I see that get distributed. So, but I think this is just a one of those type local magazines that just happen to have a Kiss article in it somewhere, or maybe just on the cover. Because right now I'm not really seeing anything Kiss related. In Concert, Strutter, a tribute to Kiss. And Nuff's Enough. They're still touring. Yeah, this is like a Creative Loafing Focus. No stupid human drunk pictures here. The ones that are around here, they'll go around the different bars and take pictures of people. Creedence Clearwater Revisited. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I may just scan this part. That's pretty cool. It's got Paul, and Paul with makeup, Gene, and Gene with makeup. Peter, and Peter with blonde hair, and Ace, and Ace. The Return of Kiss Mania. Kisstory. So it's maybe a pretty good size article. It just shows. I'll probably scan this part, just this part, for you guys. That's it. That's the only Kiss related stuff I see. Cannibal Corpse. Yeah, that's the only Kiss stuff. That's cool though. That's a little thing. Oh, there you go. The greatest rock and roll lives on 95.5 FM WGLO, Central Illinois Classic Rock and Roll Radio. We don't really have any good radio stations around here. We used to, but I don't know. Seems like they play the same stuff over and over and over. And it's just either they're really stuck in their ways on stuff from the 70s and early 80s, or they're playing mostly stuff from the 90s and the early 2000s. And there's not really any good 80s and late 70s, mid to late 70s stations in my area. All right. So let's take a look at grooves real quick. To get through the rest of these, we're already 30 minutes in, and I just want to kind of go through these real quick. And we might not get through all of them, but I know that some of you guys y'all seen these on my channel before. Some of you have not seen these on my channel before. So I just kind of wanted to go, just kind of go through them and just go through them real quick. Grooves, I remember this from when I was a kid. This is not the copy I had when I was a kid, but there's just so much iconic stuff in here. This photo here and everything. There's a photo of Ace, and there's just so much really cool stuff in this magazine of Kiss. Really cool articles. If I had the time, I'd scan these, because these are some really cool interviews. There's an interview with Gene here with the vampire. See, he's not a demon. He's a vampire. Vampire. Shook me with his mind power. Picked me up. Shook me like a dog. Real cool Gene stuff. Real cool little photos. Just little photos. I know me having it this far away doesn't do it justice, but I can't really get it my tripod any closer. But so much really cool pictures here. Alternate shot of the cover with Gene smiling. Cool pictures here. The Mylar shoot. Classic. This just takes me back to being like 8, 9 years old. Higher Than Hell. With the real cool effect on Paul. Gene dripping blood. You know, I remember wondering how Gene did the blood. You know, we're like, oh, he bites his tongue, or because he's got the cow's tongue, and oh, it's chicken blood. That's what the biggest rumor was, that it was chicken blood, or that he bit his tongue, or that he threw up blood, or whatever, or it was cow. It was, and his tongue was a cow's tongue, and just so many rumors. Let's see, who's this interview with? Is this still Gene? This is Gene. This is a long interview from Gene. This is. My gosh, this is a long interview. Wow. This is all Gene. It's crazy. I love this picture. Just the blood down his chest and down the guitar. Just the amount of blood. He doesn't spit up nowhere near that much these days, I don't think. And I think it's a different consistency. And I actually covered, I don't know who made it back then, but like 3M makes his blood now. I just think that's kind of really weird that 3M makes his blood. Rock and Roll All Night. Good classic shots. He's still Gene. Long interview with Gene. This is all still Gene. That's a cool picture. Very candid. Very candid picture. Gene biting Peter's hand. Very cool. Because Gene likes to talk about himself. There you go. There you go, Dark Light. All right. And then, sold out at your newsstand. Order Kiss Meets the Phantom. Well, we'll get to that later. And then we got Patti Smith. And we get into stuff here that really doesn't have anything to do with Kiss. But You know, it just shows you the landscape of the 70s. Patti Smith, Meatloaf, Village People. Let's see. Then we go through some record reviews here. ABBA. And then the poster. And I don't know if I can get the poster fully pulled out, but it's a poster / calendar. I think I can show two sides of it. So, like, here's the top part. And this is 78, 79. So I'd have been 9 and 10. And then I think the back is just blank. Yep, the back's blank because it's a calendar. I think it's funny they've got grooves listed there. I think I had that one with Travolta on it. I want to think that I did. I don't remember. All right, so let's get. I think it gets back to the Kiss stuff here. New Wave, Blondie, Fan Groups Club. So an interview with Ace Frehley, however you want to say it. See how long this is. So that's really cool. I always like that picture of Ace. He looks like he was doing an interview. I'm getting the facial done. Real cool. Hotter Than Hell / Rock and Roll Over, I guess. I'm not Rock and Roll Over, but Dressed to Kill. Love this. Love this picture. Love that picture. And the mother's shirt. That's awesome. Early makeup. Love this picture. I used to have a really big poster of that on my wall. This is all still Ace. Picture of Ace and Peter with Jeanette and Linda or Lydia, whatever her name is. Paul's showing his true intentions. Look. He's choking Peter by the neck. Probably wished he killed him back then. So much good little pictures in here. And this is all still Ace. There's the end of the interview. So it was all Ace and Gina in this one. And then Kiss Alive. All these really cool classic pictures. Picture there. Look at there. Bandit makeup. But yeah, seeing these pictures, it does make me feel sad about the Sam Loomis stuff. You know, I know whoever they are, was releasing stuff little by little. It would have just been nice if they would have got out everything that they had. Because let me go ahead and tell you, if I was doing something like that, I would know that if I'm releasing a bunch of videos like that are very likely to for something to happen, I would have re-uploaded them and kept them private all until I had all of them uploaded, and then I would just on one day just release them all. I would just release everything. This is Paul Stanley. I don't think it's an interview. It's talking about Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. So it's talking about Phantom. Peter there, his makeup's halfway off. Get sassy with Brooke Shields. And then Peter, that's a great picture of Peter. And then the picture on the back. So I know that's kind of going through that really quick, but I have another video. I think I have other videos of me going through that. Set that to the side. Yeah, people are talking about how they wish they had these magazines, and you can find them on eBay still, but they, like somebody else has said, they're getting more and more and more expensive, especially the classics. Now, I have a video coming up where I'm going to be going record shopping. I'm going to take you guys with me, and I'm going to be going back to the place where I bought a lot of these magazines and see what they have this time around. And so that video will be coming up. Just so you're aware of that. You get to go record and magazine shopping with me again. So this is Kiss Meets the Phantom, based on the movie, the television movie. And we'll kind of go through here, let you guys check it out. the styrofoam walls, the confetti. I actually think it, I remember looking at having Phantom when I was a kid, and just having the magazine, because you didn't have the video, because once it played on TV, we didn't have YouTube where we could go download it. Didn't have the internet where we could go watch it. This was before VCRs and where you could go rent it. So once it was watched, it was gone. It was gone. And if you missed something, you missed it. And the magazine was kind of supposed to be a kind of like a souvenir of that. So, and I remember being impressed with the magazine when I was a kid. But when I rebought it as an adult and I started flipping through it, I'm like, what the heck? What's up with these black and white pages that have colors on them? Why did they, and it's just one color, like this color that's like tinted in red. It's like, why did they cheap out on a magazine that cost $2.50 back in the day? $2.50 back in 1979 or 78. I don't even want to think about how much. I don't know what the inflation is on that. Inflation's like 130 something percent. I love that. You can see the bottom of Gene's boot. It's always kind of cool. What did you do before VCR? Emily, you waited to watch it again. You watched something on TV and you watched it again. This was also before cable channels. It was before HBO. I remember when there was no MTV. I remember when there was no HBO, there was no Cinemax, there was no Showtime, there was no any of this. And when HBO first came out, it went off at like 11 o'clock at night. It wasn't even 24 hours. Gene's clean. Ack. Growl. A pussycat. I love that scene. That's so awesome. Them in those cloaks. They were sweating like crazy. Autographs. Paul with the fans. Ace. Paul. Peter and Gene. Life didn't revolve around TV when I was a kid as much as it does for kids now. We got, Saturday morning. Most of the time I remember watching TV is on Saturday mornings, eating a bowl of cereal and laying in the living room floor and watching Saturday morning cartoons. But life didn't revolve around TV. I don't remember watching TV in the evenings that much. This was all before, but I remember like shows coming out like Dallas and Dukes of Hazzard and all those cool shows. And I remember watching the Jeffersons and Alice and What's Happening and all those shows. But a lot of times if you didn't have you didn't have stuff, you didn't have a way to watch stuff again. They all lose their heads over you, Demon. Peter just looks like he's just so out of it right there. Like he's just like, where am I? Peter was really disillusioned with the band at this point in time. Also, allegedly cocained out. And he didn't want to do the movie. He thought that Kiss was selling out and they were, being lame. And he thought that about the solo albums with them all getting colors and stuff. And he didn't like that. He wanted to stick with just the silver and the black. And so he just really didn't want to do this. He didn't really want to do all this stuff. And Ace was feeling real restricted by Gene and Paul. And man, look at this merchandise. It's cool. So The Kiss radio, guys, $9.50. $9.50. The poster's $2.50. I had those, and I had the one that had all four on it. Man, wouldn't it be nice to get a Kiss radio for $9.50? Belt buckles. Belt buckles were $6 each. And here's my belt buckle that y'all have seen. My original Love Gun that I've had since I was a wee kid. It's my original belt buckle from 1977. One of my things I have out of my collection that didn't get stolen or destroyed. But those things go for expensive now. Enlist in the Kiss Army for $5. Got the pins, the signature pins, and the regular pins. Signature pins are $5. The Kiss buckle was $5. There's different variants of that. This is basically all the stuff that you could have gotten out of the solo albums, like the keychains and the notebooks and the hat and the shirt and the Alive 2 shirt, the yellow Alive 2 shirt, the pad. See, you could order them right there. I bet you could order everything on that page for less than $100, and it costs you over $5,000 now, if not more than that. Kiss Meets the Phantom, a great gift idea. Sealed with the kiss, and then a picture of Ace, a picture of Gene and Peter, picture of Paul, picture of Gene up on the stage, up on the riser in front of the crowd, and then heads up, flaming youth, hither cometh thy destiny. So I love Phantom. I'm glad that I've got it, but it doesn't. It's not quite the way I remember it. It's just not. I don't remember it. I remember it being a little better when I was a kid. All right. So what time is it? 8:40. So we got like 3 magazines to go. So I know one of these are like, okay, I'm not really going to open this one because I can tell you what this is. I didn't really go through this one the last time. This one's basically a book of pinups. I think this is a book of posters, and I paid $10 for this at that store that I'm going to go back to. But this one is a book of mostly pinups. So I can show you what I can show you, but this is also just a big poster book. So this one will be really quick. So good, cool Dynasty shot there. Paul and Gene. And then Paul and Gene again. This was after the, what was it, Rise to It video or whatever. Good band right there. Good lineup right there. Without the makeup. You know, they didn't create for Bruce, and they didn't, you know. These are really good pictures here. Some of them get really big, and we won't get to those. I love that picture of Paul there. I remember my aunt financing a VCR in the mid-90s. I remember the first VCR that my mom had was huge. Of course, our TV sat on the floor, and this thing sat on top of it, and it was huge. And you put the VCR and the thing on the top and pressed it down. Gene with his Cut Alive, which they did that with promos. So, of course, Gene gets a promo. Great picture there. Great, great, great. Awesome picture. Mr. Carr. Excuse me. Mr. Stanley. There's a picture of Gene. There's a bunch of pinups in the middle. Then the bottom of Gene. Good Dynasty era shot of Ace. Gene with the casket. Love that. Paul on the Asylum tour with the big Ks. Another Paul on the Asylum tour holding up an airbrush shirt. I don't get this picture. I don't even know why this picture's in here. It's Ace during the winter shoot. And it's a picture of his back. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Good shot there. maybe that the Dress to Kill Destroyer era, the Destroyer era. It's a good picture. Hot in the Shade era, Dynasty era. Gene just being Gene. Great post shot. Man, that Asylum stage, man. It just that huge Kiss logo. I love it. Simple stage, man, but that huge logo, man, that's all you needed. That's all you needed. I know that was kind of quick, but I didn't want to spend too much time in that. But I'm pretty sure that that's one of the posters. And I think that's one of the posters. Maybe that's one of them. I don't know. I didn't see those pictures in there. I know there's several posters in the middle of it. But it says Paul, Gene, Eric, Bruce, Ace, Vinny, Peter. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll take those posters out. I don't know. Kiss the Videos. This is a really cool one. We'll try to get through these two. We got like 15 minutes left. We'll get through these. Kiss the Videos. Never before seen video stills. 4 individual pull-out posters with original band members in makeup. I don't know if those posters are in here. Complete guide to all 18 Kiss videos. Collector's issue. This was $4.50 back in the day. Outtake from the Alive 2 middle shot, the gatefold. Then we have World Without Heroes. That's the first official video, World Without Heroes. But, Kiss had videos that was on like Midnight Special and stuff like that. But Paul Lynde stuff. World Without Heroes. And that's from The Elder, November 1981. And then I Love It Loud from October 1982 from Creatures. Lick It Up, September 83. They're saying that they're video stills. These aren't video stills of the video. These are just pictures, but Lick It Up. All Hell's Breaking Loose. Once again, not video stills, just pictures of them performing. Heaven's on Fire. That's some stuff from the video. I love that video. I would like to see what Mark St. John, rest in peace. I would like to see what Mark St. John could do. And I loved the Heaven's on Fire video. I still love that song. And I still love that song. And I like Animalize a lot still, but I don't like it as much as I did when I was a kid. Thrills in the Night, the video that I think they scratched the whole Gene being a businessman because Gene, he's trying to be Mr. Hollywood. Thrills in the Night, September 1984. Then Tears Are Falling. I love Tears Are Falling. Great video. Very well done. Says that's from September of 83 as well. Really cool set. Who Wants to Be Lonely? Great song. Great video. Like that. That came out in September also. All Night. Asylum. I love the Asylum album, man. I just love the Asylum album. And All Night is a great song. I love it. Crazy Nights. These are crazy, crazy, crazy. Cool video. Here's a little song for everybody out there. Reason to Live. I love Reason to Live. Great song. I'm not a big fan of the Crazy Nights album. I've liked it. I like it now more than I did, but not the biggest fan. Let's put the X in sex. Oh, no. First, turn on the night. Turn on the night video. And then let's put the X in sex. A lot of people love Turn on the Night. I think it's a good song. You Make Me Rock Hard from Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits. Good song. Very typical 80s type stuff. Rock and Roll All Night, coming off of Kiss Exposed. I love Rock and Roll All Night. I love Kiss Exposed. Hey, Rex, good to see you. If I missed anybody, hey, Jay Lee, good to see you. I don't know if I missed anybody. I'm trying to catch everybody as they come in, looking at the chats. Thomas Summers, hey, man, didn't see your I have the 70s issues of Circus, Cream, Prater magazines, Kiss features in the magazine. Yeah, and like I said, I'm real excited to go back to where I've gone before and picked up albums and stuff. Hey, Half Ace, missed you earlier, man. I didn't see you pop in. I might have been looking at a magazine, but I'm going to go back and see. He's got some real cool magazines he has the last couple times. So I'm going to go back and see if I can take you guys along with me and find some. Hide Your Heart. Hot in the Shade. Hide Your Heart. Good song. Behind the Lens, bringing Kiss to video. Little article there. This is really cool. The Kiss Alive fan club. And then these posters. Got Destroyer. See, these posters to me would seem rare. I think these posters would be very rare. This cartoon out here. I think these posters would be real rare. Because it's Kiss Alive Supply Depot. There's Exposed, Animalized, Uncensored, Crazy Nights. And they were selling Phantom for $17.95. Wow, it's cheaper than Animalized, Uncensored, and Kiss Exposed. Gene Simmons, sticking your tongue into the video age. Kiss has become a much sleeker, faster live band. Yeah, with Eric. Yeah, really. This page was torn before I got it. So, picture Eric. He's got the Smurf Award, whatever that is. Exclusive interview with Eric Carr. That's real cool. I miss Eric. I wonder what Kiss would be like if Eric was still around. Would he still be in Kiss? I think we posed that question before. If Eric was still around, would he still be in Kiss? Forever, Hot in the Shade. October. Rise to It. October. Gene, I don't know. You could just tell he's not done his makeup in a while. He just doesn't. Him and Paul. Paul's star looked puny. Gene's makeup was like he had his 70s, his late 70s top and his early 70s bottom. He's missing like a couple things down here. It's like he had forgot how to do his makeup. And like I said, Paul's star was like super. There's just something wrong about it. Paul, they just did not look right. You can just tell they hadn't done their makeup in a long time. Rise to It. I think Rise to It may be the last one up to this point. Making of the Kiss's first film, talking about Phantoms. That shot again, that's actually in the Phantoms book. I think that shot's in the Phantoms book. Yeah, so Rise to It, that was up to there. And then they have back here more the home videos. Animalized, Live, and Uncensored. Kiss Exposed and Crazy Nights. And then on the back, Bruce with his... It's a TV that has a back to it. And look, is that a VCR? It's a VCR and a record player. Cool. All right, so... Oh, yeah, we got enough time. What did Emily say? I saw somebody say Emily said very insightful. Oh, Emily talking about Halloween and Hitchcock, of course. All right, so last magazine we're going to look at tonight, and this was the Worldwide 96-97 Tour magazine. This is the reunion magazine. I don't have the cover. I don't have the cover for this. I bought it from that record store in this fashion. So, message from us to you. Give us your money. Y'all waiting on me to say something else? Kiss tour itinerary. Kiss reunited and rocking the world. Kiss reunited and seeing dollar signs, at least Gene and Paul, because they're going to try to screw Ace and Peter out as much money as they can. Yeah, I know the stories. Did Ace and Peter deserve as much as Gene and Paul? There's two sides of that argument. A lot of people would say no because it wasn't Peter and Ace that was keeping Kiss alive all those years when they were off doing their own thing, either abusing drugs, chasing solo careers, both of those things. But so those people say no, they did not deserve as much as Gene and Paul. And honestly, I can say that I've kind of prescribed to that that thinking, but I also think that they deserved. It should have been percentages. It shouldn't have been we're giving you a flat rate fee and you're making X amount of dollars. It should have been, if it wasn't, it should have been that Gene and Paul got, say, 50% between the two of them, and Ace and Peter got 50% between the two of them. So it was 50, it was 25% for everybody. Now, some people says, well, that's them getting paid just as much. Well, yeah, I mean, or if you want to say, okay, well, Gene and Paul get, I don't know, 40% or whatever. But I just think that Gene and Paul are like they get 40% each, and Peter and Ace get 10% each, or 15% each, or something like that. But I do think that Gene and Paul, there would not be a reunion tour, and these guys wouldn't be living in the mansion. Paul's getting ready to tear down a mansion to build a mansion. And they would have not had the money that they would have had and made on this tour and subsequent tours after, had it not been for these two guys. They would have still been living the revenge lifestyle. The last album that they had that came out, or was going to come out before the reunion, before Unplugged happened, that sparked the reunion, was Carnival of Souls. So Kiss, and I love Carnival of Souls, but Kiss was doing another last ditch effort to try something. Oh, let's try Seattle or grunge music. Let's try to sound like Alice in Chains, which I have no problem with that because I love that album. But what would Kiss tried next? What would Kiss have tried next? I mean, would they've tried sounding like newer 90s bands? Would they been trying to sound like Blink 182, or would they have been trying to sound like, something else? So I think that, although, yes, I do agree that Gene and Paul deserved bigger pieces of the pie than Peter and Ace. Basically, what Paul and Gene did was they're like, okay, we're going to take all of the pie, and then we're going to let you guys have scraps coming off of the table. Because, I heard that they made about $20 million or whatever, but $20 million, or I don't know the exact number, but $20 million for each one of them. Gene and Paul were making well above beyond that. So it was real unfair. These guys is what put Kiss back on the map and brought everybody back. Because, I mean, come on. We'd been able to have the opportunity to see Gene and Paul for years. But it was back with the two original members with the makeup on. And you notice the era they went back to initially, back to the Love Gun era, back to the most nostalgic era. So, Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox. Anyway, all right. United and rocking the world. That's a cool stage. That was a cool stage. I love the reunion tour. I love the reunion tour and the farewell tour. The reunion tour was better than the farewell tour. By the time they got around to the farewell tour, you could just tell that they were getting tired of each other. Peter was, getting Peter and Giselle or whatever her name is, gun gotten in his head, and Ace was, hurt. He was counting seats and counting receipts and stuff like that, and saying, "Hey, we're looks like we're full out there, but we're only getting paid for 80% or whatever." I don't know, but it's a real cool page here. 74 through 79 there. Merch never before available. Yeah, you had all the reunion merch, man. And look, they were doing the same stuff back then that they're doing now. Look, putting out gold and silver albums, rock and roll over shirts, redoing shirts, rebooting albums. That's a cool shot. Gene and his Punisher, 1,500, and it can be yours for a low, low price. That picture there, I think that was an early on picture because they just don't. They almost look like a cover band in that picture. Every one of them. The return of conquering heroes in a world. It's really cool, but a lot of this stuff's black and white. Some of these pictures, I bet some of these are worth money now. Some of these pictures and stuff, these posters and the Kiss timeline, 73. Oh, they've got pre 73. They've got 68, 70, 72, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 8, 9, 80, 81. Awesome. Did y'all see my post of that picture of them with those shirts, that shirt on? Oh, the shirt that has them with that stuff on it. That's so awesome. Vinny and Eric. Animalize. Unplugged. The beginning of the end. I'm one of those people that I wish whenever they got done with the reunion that they would have went back to what they were doing with Revenge with Carnival of Souls. They had their money. So it's almost like if you win the lottery, it's like after you win the lottery, you can do whatever you want to do. So I don't understand, once they had all this money, why did they feel the need to put a tribute act or I don't know what you'd call the current lineup. I know I try to be sensitive because I know a lot of people that is their era and that's their band. But if you listen to Gene and Paul, it's not, they themselves back in the day, 20 years ago, said, no. I mean, 25 years ago, I was listening to, I'm going to plug them again. I was listening to Right Between the Eyes podcast again this morning, listening to one of their early episodes, and they played a clip where Gene and Paul themselves were on Ricky Ratman's show, and he was saying, "Hey guys, what would it take? You guys do a stadium show." They were promoting Revenge, and you do 4 stadium shows and bring the other guys back and do a stadium, bring Ace and Peter back and makeup and stuff like that. And they're like, no, we don't see that happening for us at this point. We don't see, but it's funny how they always add at this point, because these two, man, Gene and Paul, they always plotting, man, always. And I hate that they brought back, that they chose to keep the makeup on. I wish they would have took the makeup off, even if they keep, Eric in the band, bring Bruce back. I don't have a problem with Eric. I've never been the biggest fan of Tommy Thayer. I've been very vocal about that. I like Eric. I don't like him. I'm one of those people that I don't like him wearing the Catman makeup, because Gene and Paul themselves have rewrote history and rewrote what they've said and said that they never said some of the things they did, but they did concerning lip syncing and anything else. I feel me getting back up on my soapbox again. But I don't know. I just wish that they would have went back to, it's like you made your millions, you won the lottery, you got more money than you can ever spend. You're tearing down mansions to build mansions. You're buying houses and then turn around and selling them just because you don't like the weather. It's what Gene did in Vegas. He bought it and then turned around and put it up for sale because he didn't like the weather. It was too hot. So it's just like I don't get it. I don't understand why. I had that Dynasty tour book at one point in time. Those tour books were huge. There's Gene and his mom, rest in peace. But these books, but I don't understand these guys. They have more money than they know what to do with. So why are they trying to make more? Why not try to do something? I mean, at this point in time, it's just okay. Just give the fans one last hurrah. They just announced like another 100 dates, so it's the end. It's the end of the never ending. It's the never ending road tour, and they just announced 100 dates. And I know some people are excited and stoked because they're going to get to see Kiss again. Some of them, this will be their third time and fourth time, and but I just don't understand why years ago why they didn't go back to doing what they were doing before. Kiss discography. So we have the first Kiss album, Harder Than Hell, Dressed to Kill, Kiss Alive. Oh, and here's my shameless plug for my bracket. If you didn't get in on the first bracket video, calling your bracket, you can still get in on the second one. You don't have to have done it from the first one. You can just go on my Facebook and put in your vote for the current bracket. I think it's part 2 or whatever, the current bracket. But you putting the albums against putting the 70s makeup albums against each other. And we're on the second one. So, well, and Dark Light, and I heard somebody else, I think, and I'm kind of ripping this off once again from Shout It Out Loudcast. That's why I recommend you guys listen to them. They were talking about how Paul Stanley, that Kiss is all he knows. It's like Kiss is all he knows. I mean, and he can say, yeah, he paints and he cooks and he does all this other stuff, but his life has been Kiss, and being a rock star has been his since he was a kid. And so Kiss is all he knows. So when Kiss finally hangs up and dies, it's gonna be like him losing one of his children. He's gonna lose a child or a spouse. I mean, it's gonna be very serious for Paul. Gene will just find another way to make money. Gene is Kiss is a project to Gene, but Kiss is Paul's baby. I mean, it has been from the very beginning, and he became even more vested during this era right here, where the Lick It Up, Animalize era. He became very vested during that time. Even in the Smashes, Thrashes, Hot and Shade, Gene really didn't truly like come back and feel like he was making an effort till you got to Revenge, in a way, in my opinion. Alive 3, Alive 3 is a really good album. I know a lot of people, they give it crap, but Alive 3 is a really good album, really good live album. Kiss My Ass, Unplugged, You Want the Best, You Got the Best. I have that. That on vinyl, it's very hard to find. Then reissues, originals, import of Killers. Paul Stanley's guitar, you can have it for, they keep marking it down. Paul, straight from the lip. It's okay. He'll change what he means sooner or later. And I know people think I hate on Paul and I hate on Gene. I don't. I just say what I feel and say what I think. And I mean, that's all of our rights. This is my channel, so. The videos. Promotional clips. Yeah, see? Promotional clips. 75.99 Dressed to Kill. They had Come On and Love Me, Rock and Roll All Night, Rock and Roll Over. They had I Want You, Hard Luck Woman, Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. Dynasty, I Was Made for Loving You. Unmasked was Shandy. Elder was World Without Heroes, and Creatures of the Night was I Love It Loud. They should have had more videos off of Creatures. I just know it didn't do well. Part of me wonders if they should have took the makeup off, but honestly, I think they just did it one album too late. Kiss tour manager tells all that they will allow him to say. Is that Tommy? I thought Tommy was the tour manager. That ain't Tommy. I don't know who that is. The Spaceman Cometh. You can just tell Ace was old in that picture. I mean, they were all older. They're all, Gene had facelift and stuff. If you watched Family Jewels, I always loved that picture of Ace. Ace looking good though. He slimmed down a lot. For that for the reunion. The Kiss Army Depot stuff. Kiss comicography. That's a mouthful. So we got the first Marvel, the second Marvel. Just a bunch of the other comics, the bootleg comics featuring Kiss, the original Kiss comics. My Place in Kisstory. Peter, the beat of a different drummer. Peter with that cat hat on. That's cool. Peter with those cats. He was not happy about doing that. I always loved that picture of Peter. I always thought his solo album was kind of fashioned off of that. Influenced by Kiss. Dimebag. Ace in his studio. Guitars that ruled the world. Yeah, Jay Lee. Let's see. I agree, and I think it's not real. I mean, I know that some people are like, "Oh, we get the chance to see him again," but they were going around with all these shows, and they were kind of pressing people, saying, "This is the last time. This is the last time you're gonna get to see us. This is the last time you're gonna get to see us." And it's like, "Oh, no, we ain't gonna do one. No, this is gonna be the last time you're gonna get to see us." Now they added another leg, other tours and shows and stuff, and it's like, really? Will Paul solo tour with Soul Station and bring Eric with him? It's add Eric Singer to his Soul Station, but Paul insists the Soul Station is not Kiss at all. I don't know. I think I don't know. I'd rather Paul, quit and do something like that. Like when they end Kiss, Paul's going to have something. You want the best, you got the best. Unplugged, Creatures, Alive 3, reunion specials. Get your credit card out. Hard rock, heavy metal posters, Killer Kiss contest, Kiss Nation drawings. That's pretty cool. The tribute bands. Look at there, it's Tommy Thayer. Look. Franken Thayer. Franken Freely. Kiss tribute bands. Man, there's some Kiss tribute bands out there that's better than the real Kiss. I ain't gonna lie. 70s flashback, live and kicking. There's one. I think they're called Kiss Army. Oh, I went and seen them one time in Tennessee. They're good. I think that's the end of it. Gene pointing to his tongue. Yep, that's it. That's all my magazines. I just had these added up here for, you know, my belt buckle and my chew bop, my unmatched chew bop. Still got the gum in there, and my Kiss cards, my original Don Russ. Here, the Don Russ Series 1. Here, smell them. They still smell like the day that they came out of the pack. That's why I leave them in this container. And then my Kiss, my unofficial Kiss logo blocks that my wife made for me, because they have members of Kiss on them. Like the K has Gene, the I has Ace and Penny. The S has Paul, and this S has Peter and Eric. I've showed those before, but I know I got new viewers that's never seen them. My wife made those for me, so that's very cool. So I keep them on my desk. She put little rhinestones on them too. So anyway, guys, that's it for tonight. Hope we know we went over a little bit, but I hope all of you had a good time, and hope that you had a good time just hanging out and chatting. I'll be back next Wednesday night with the results for the latest rankings video. So be sure to get the bracket rank. Be sure that you get your vote in for that. You can go to my social media. You can go to my Twitter, my Instagram, or my YouTube. Be sure to check that out. I've got another cover video coming it's a song off of the Rock and Roll Over album. That may come out, if not tomorrow, it'll come out Friday. So that's coming out as well. And then I'll be putting up a post about this track versus track. Look what the cat dragged in for night songs. So I hope everybody has a good evening, and have a good rest of your week, and be safe out there. And I'll talk to every one of you real soon. I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight.